in Bedard's first year in the league. It's not like they were supposed to be. I mean, they're building for the future and they got the second overall pick. But year 2 is looking like it's going to be a lot more interesting, not just if you're a fan of him, but if you're a fan of the team in general. Now, it's clear that since they got him, Kyle Davidson and the Hawks have been trying to insulate Bedard with some veteran presences, one of which really did not turn out well, but you can see that that's important to the organization to surround him with some veteran experience early on. And look, I know it was at the start of his second year in the league that the Oilers made McDavid captain. It also made him the youngest captain in NHL history at 19 years and 266 days. And considering that Bedard turns 19 in July here, the Hawks could make him the youngest captain in league history if they do indeed want to follow the McDavid model. But if I was them, I would hold off a little bit. I wouldn't do it to start his second year in the league. I would actually wait and go captainless for another year minimum. But if their hearts are set on naming a captain right now, I'm on record saying this, I think it should be Nick Foligno. Almost just like as a stopgap for a year or two, just to buy Bedard some more time to really mature into a leadership role. Foligno's got tons of experience as a captain. Let him take care of that stuff, and that pressure can be off of Bedard for a little bit. Let him focus on hitting his stride and going through the process of becoming an elite player in the best league in the world. Then in a couple of years, you could give it to him. Think of Derek McKenzie for Barkov or Chris Clark for Ovechkin. I'm just not sure I see it necessary to do the Crosby, Taves, McDavid thing here, especially with all the vets on this team, including the ones who just joined in free agency, which there are a lot of. And that's what I want to get to next year. That's why I think this is going to be so much more interesting than last year. I know key injuries to guys like Hall and Athanasiou and the Corey Perry situation really influenced this, but Bedard and Kurashev heavily carried that offense last year. It really didn't feel like Bedard had much help at all. And look, again, that's okay. It's a rebuilding team, but I'm just saying this year, it seems like it's going to be a lot more fun to watch and interesting, especially Bertuzzi and Teravainen. I mean, that seems like an experiment where both of them are going to get a shot with Bedard, whether it's separately or together. And how much of a trip is it going to be for Hawks fans to see Teravainen back in a Hawks uniform for the first time since basically he was a kid, playing alongside Connor Bedard, probably even on the same line. He's the only one from that era of Hawks hockey where Taves, Kane, Keith, Seabrook were still winning cups who's going to get a chance to play with Bedard. So far anyways. I mean, it's basically next to zero the chances that it's Taves or Kane, but hey, Brandon Saad is still kicking around. I don't see a team here who's going to make the playoffs, but hey, as long as they stay healthy, it definitely looks like one that's going to be much improved from last year, and at the very least is going to be able to score and provide some help for Bedard. I didn't think I'd be saying this early on into his career, but I'm actually looking forward to watching Hawks hockey for more than just 98. You guys are super knowledgeable. I want to get your opinion on this. Out of Bertuzzi, Teravainen, Hall, Athanasiou, and Kurashev, who are the two players that you think are going to click the best with Bedard? I do think Teravainen will get a shot with him, but I think ultimately it'll end up being Bertuzzi and Kurashev. Man, I knew Chicago had a pretty active offseason, but when you look at the roster going into next year, that's when you're really like, whoa, they went out and they got so many players and guys who were vets too. Like, they've got to be one of the oldest teams in the league now, even with guys like Bedard, Vlasic, and Korchinski. That'll do for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing. I hope you're having a good summer. See you in the next one.
Thanks. That's all for that one. Oh yeah, I want to talk about the President's AI Super Mario Bros. Scenario. We're going to start making President's AI videos again.